Hello, everyone. Welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You're listening to the Going Solo CC Show, and I am CC Schatz. I'm the doyen of relationship building. What I do is help take you through probably some of the darkest times of your life through to living your best life. And I do that by connecting awesome individuals that will really help motivate you and inspire you to be able to, go through those really tough times. So we are going to do a little homework here. If you guys want to email me, of course, you can reach me at goingsolo@gmail.com. We are live here on Facebook and on YouTube. Please, any comments that you'd like to place, you're welcome to do that. We would love that. And we ask for you to please like us and subscribe to our channel on the YouTube channel. So let's get on with the show because we've got a lot going on today. I'll want to show you our guest here, and it's Rosalind Sadaka. Rosalind, come on up here. Let's see if we can bring her to the screen here. Oh, let's see. Let me try something here. There we go. Technology is wonderful, isn't it? Hi, Rosalind. Rosalind, you're a dating midlife expert and a dating relationship coach. You have, so much going for you. You are a co-author of the 99 Things Women Wish They Knew Before Dating After 40, 50, and yes, 60. So that is, it's nice to know because I'm like getting there. And so it's nice to know that we can still date when we're, when we're in our 60s. So, and also I want to show you here, she is, her initials is the CDC. She's a certified divorce coach, and she runs the Voice of Children-Centered Divorce. And her email here is rosalindwrites@gmail.com. So welcome. Welcome to the show.
Always great to be with you.
Oh, it is always great having you. I tell you, our topic is going to be kind of fun tonight, I think. Our topic is, are you ready for a lasting relationship in 2020? And so tell me a little bit about, Rosalind, how you got into being a certified divorce coach and then moving forward into being, a midlife, dating expert. And so how did you get into this field you're in?
Well, life kind of threw me in that direction. I was married for 20 years and then got a divorce, which I was never expecting, but took me years of working towards that because it's something I wanted to do. But I hesitated because I had a son and he was 11 years old at the time when I finally knew I had to make the move and get the divorce. And that was very traumatic for me, and I didn't want to traumatize my son. So I spent weeks of sleepless nights trying to figure out how to break the news to him and how to create the most peaceful and positive feedback and output and results of the divorce as possible. And that worked for me. It worked very well. And in fact, my son, when he was an adult, came to me one day and thanked me for the way he and me and his father worked in co-parenting after the divorce. And that led me to being single, back after 20-year marriage, back in the world of dating again. And everyone who's been married or in a serious relationship for a while and then out in the dating world again, it knows how traumatic it can be, what a shift you have to make in your life. And you're a different person than you were when you were in your early 20s or 30s. And so I had to learn a lot of secrets of being single, dating again, picking a healthier partner for a new relationship, not traumatizing my son and allowing him to grow up in the best possible environment and make good decisions in his life when he was dating and having relationships. So all of that moved me into becoming a divorce and co-parenting coach, founding the Child-Centered Divorce Network, and ultimately become a dating and relationship coach and creating Women Dating After 40 and co-authoring 99 Things Women Wish They Knew Before Dating After 40, 50, and yes, 60. So it all evolved, and it's been a lot of fun because the path I've been on is a path so many people are on as well.
Yes, absolutely. And also, I want to share with the audience that you and your sister, Amy Sherman, that you do a wonderful show here with us, which is called Dating and Divorce,
Divorce, dating, and
Divorce, no,
empowered
Divorce,
living.
Dating, and Empowered Living. Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely. You've been with us for a long time, and it's a great show. People love it. I've learned a lot from it, so I really thank you for being with us as a host. And so, well,
thank
share
you.
with us this topic because this is, people are struggling with this. They're struggling with being ready for, I think, a lasting relationship. And so, you're a dating and relationship coach. You're an author. And what is the best advice you can give singles out there now in 2020, looking to embark on this, this world of dating and really wanting to find someone that's lasting in their life?
Yes. So some important advice that I would give to people who are single today is make sure that you show up as your authentic self. Don't change yourself to be like someone who you think is a better role model for you, or someone who's a celebrity who says and does things. You have to come across as you. No one is a better you than you. And too many people lose their self-esteem after they go through breakups or they go through some dating situations that are disappointing, and they start losing their glitter and glow and their enthusiasm. And you have to approach being single as something that's not a chore, something you dread, but something that can be exciting and fun. And even if you're not meeting the partner of your life in the next experience, you could be out having a good time. So I strongly advise doing things that bring you joy, that are fulfilling for you, that make you feel that you're enjoying your life. So follow your passions. Don't go places because, oh, men are all hanging out there, or that's where the women show up, or someone is advising you this is the place to go. It's a great club or a bar. Go to places that really make your heart sing. So if you like to sing, or if you like to dance, or if you like sports, or if you like painting in museums, if you like studying history, whatever it is that is exciting for you, do that. Attend classes or lectures or courses, or go to events, or travel to places you haven't been. What you want to do is break the mold and get out of the same old, same old. And this is a perfect time because it's a new year, so it gives you an opportunity to really rethink everything about who you've been and say, how can I express myself more genuinely in a more fulfilling, authentic way this year, 2020, in a better way than ever before? What have I been putting off? What have I been avoiding? What am I afraid of doing or sharing or saying? And show up at those places, because when we break the molds, we shift our energy. That's when things happen and change. If you continue to do the same old thing you've been doing for the last 5 years, you're going to get the same results. And that's not what we're looking for, right?
Absolutely. You are so right. I like the idea that you show up as your authentic self, doing something that you enjoy doing, because when you're happy about something, that just radiates from you, doesn't it? And then
Absolutely.
people want to be with you, right? When you're happy.
Yes, yes, you attract a positive energy, and people are seeing who you are. Ultimately, if someone's going to fall in love with you, you want them to fall in love with you, not a facade of you or the who you wish you could be, because that's going to fade. You could fool someone for a few weeks or a few months, but ultimately you're going to find the real person that you're dating, and they're going to find the real you that they're dating. And so why play games with people? Be yourself, because there's someone out there who's going to be attracted to those quirks, those idiosyncrasies, those special things, the way you hum, the way you move, music that you like, places that you like to go, or foods that you cook that other people aren't interested in. Whatever it is, honor and praise and celebrate your uniqueness, because you want to find a partner who's going to appreciate your qualities. I just read so many people talking to singles about changing who they are, or learning flirting tricks and techniques, or going to places where they're going to find more people to date, it doesn't mean that you're going to find the right partner. But if you shift your energy and you make space in your life for the right person to come along, that's going to shake things up enough and attract someone new to the real you. And there's no relationship like being in a relationship with someone who not only loves you, but respects you and appreciates you.
Yeah, do you think, now we hear a lot about at the beginning of the year, losing weight, doing all those things. So do you think you have to lose weight and do all of those things before you start dating?
Well, the most important thing in any relationship is your relationship with yourself. And so you have to love yourself the way you are. So if you're losing weight for you because you feel that this is going to be a gift to you, that you're doing for you to be the person that you want to reflect, then by all means, lose weight, make decisions to work out or exercise, change your diet, do things on the physical plane that's going to make it shift. But you're doing it for you. If it's drudgery and you're doing it for some imaginary person out there, again, it's not your authentic self. And you're going to be fooling someone for a few weeks, but it's not the real you. So diets never work, because if you're not genuinely ready to shift your lifestyle, no matter how many weeks you're on that diet, ultimately you're going to go back to the way you were before, because it's not the real you. So use this time to say, what do I want to do for me? And do those things. Making changes that are genuine for you is growth, personal growth, and expanded consciousness. Making changes because someone's shaming you into it, guilting you into it, fearing you into it, or because you have low self-esteem and you think you have to do it, it never works. And that leads me to the most important point of all, which I repeat with every question. And that is, you have to work on yourself, do the inner work on yourself, to present yourself as the you that you're happy with, so other people will be happy with you. You have to fall in love with yourself first. We can't attract quality, meaningful relationship partners if we're really not happy with ourselves, if we're not impressed with ourselves, if we think we're just a piece of garbage. Why would anyone think otherwise? Why would anyone treat you better than that? Mm-hmm. So too often I find clients who come to talk with me and they don't feel good about themselves. And no matter what you do on the physical plane, haircuts and changing your weight and changing your clothes or all of that, none of that means anything if deep inside there's a gaping hole that says, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve a healthy relationship, no one's going to want me. All of that has to be worked on first. So take the time first to fall back in love with yourself, or to find ways to love and respect and accept yourself more, just the way you are. And then you could make conscious decisions to change and shift things that you think really you want to do for you.
That totally makes sense, because I do believe that, if we're not happy with ourselves, we're at a lower vibration, right? And when we are happy, we're at this higher vibration in life.
I'm so sorry. I think
that's okay. That's fine. It happens. It shows it's real. We're alive.
Yes, we are real.
So tell me, do you think that there's a difference in dating between the ages? Like 40, 50, and now going into 60. Even some friends that I have are in their late 60s, are starting to go into their 70s. So do you think that there's really a difference in the dating?
The biggest difference is, again, inside. What do you feel? If you didn't know your age, how old would you feel you are? For some people, it's a decade or 2 decades younger. For other people, it's a decade or 2 decades older. We've all met people in their 30s and 40s who have a mentality or a mindset who just seem like they're in their 60s. They just seem old in the way they act and move and think. And there's others who stay young. And we see that with celebrities. Some actors age gracefully and beautifully, and others just deteriorate before our eyes. So it's not about the chronological age you're reaching. It's really about staying vivacious and fit and being as active as you can be so you could enjoy life and enjoy life with other people.
Mm-hmm.
But you do want to be mindful of the fact that you don't want to be dating people who are a lot younger than you because it's a status symbol. And you don't want to be dating people who are a lot older than you because there's some financial gains in that. You want to make sure you're not exploiting people you're dating, that you're being open and honest and real with them. And choose a partner because your energy matches and your interests match. I believe that the more commonalities we have, the smoother life is. That doesn't mean you're going to find a clone, or you should. The differences are interesting, and differences mean that life is filled with stimulation. If one of you likes to cook and the other one doesn't, then that's great, because then you have great food and you could be doing something else that's an asset that you offer. But if you find people who don't share values and have big differences morally or politically or in their views of the world and their views of what they want to do as they age, that can create a lot of conflict and differences for people. You want to be in alignment with people. If one person is always an active traveler and a globetrotter, and the other person would prefer to stay home or just sit on a lounge chair at the beach, there's a lot of incompatibilities that are going to show up. That's why you need to really talk and talk and talk with dates. Enjoy the experience of getting to know them, and then decide these similarities work for me. That is very different for me, but that's fine. And determine just where you two are on the scale of how much time you want to spend together, how much alone time you want, how much time with other people. You want to be aware of the red flags. You want to avoid someone who's very controlling early on or later on. You want to avoid someone who's very manipulative and seems to be demanding that you follow only what they want to do in their agenda. You want to make sure you catch people if they're out of alignment with integrity and they tell lies and they may have stories that don't always line up. You want to catch that early on and be aware of that. You want to make sure that your values are in alignment, the belief systems you have, and your goals and aspirations as you're aging together. So these are qualities to talk about, and we need to be able to accept and forgive our partner for certain things, but there's always going to be some areas where we don't bend, when we say, no, I don't want to be dating a person who's drinking way more than I drink, or doing drugs, or has other factors in their life that just don't feel comfortable for you. And, that all makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And what about the time periods? Like, often they think that when they get on a dating site, then it should happen right away. And they get frustrated with that. They feel like, okay, well, this isn't working out. I'm meeting people that are just not right for me. And often what I say to them is like, well, when you meet the ones that aren't right for you and you realize that, hallelujah, Exactly. Because how often have you been into relationships where you haven't figured that out, right? You haven't figured out they're not right for you, and then you've gone down the road. So what is your advice on the time? Is there a time period that you are to give someone to see if they're the right one or not?
Well, I'm of a generation when I really believe communication is important, and I believe getting on the phone and talking as soon as possible. Younger generations are into texting far longer, and I don't think 3-sentence communications are really indicative of getting to know a person on the level where you want to know whether you want to spend enough time with them to even have drink or a lunch together. So you want to talk, and you want to see if someone is playing games when they're just not available to talk, and after a few weeks you really don't feel you've gotten to know them because the communication has been so lapsed. I would just move on and let that go, because if that's important to you, and it really should be, then they're either don't care about that, or it's not important to them, or they're avoiding something. So it's not a rule about exact things, but I think it's feeling out whether or not you feel someone is putting energy towards being interested in you and showing that. Some people you could just feel they're avoiding, and maybe they're talking online to 20 people, and so everyone is getting a drib of attention every week or two, but nothing's really happening, versus someone who may be talking to one or two other people and trying to make a decision about them. So remember, you're only looking for one. Ultimately, you're looking for a partner. You're looking for someone who's a quality person to come into your life, and that's worth the effort. And you're qualifying people. So if you look at online dating as a qualifier, it reduces a lot of the tension and aggravation, and you can just go next, because if someone doesn't start well with you, they may not continue. Now, sometimes when you meet them, they turn out to be a totally different person and much more interesting, and you're glad that you did take the time to get to meet them and talk, because speaking eye to eye and looking at each other and seeing their smiles always makes a difference. But if someone is avoiding that and you're feeling impatient, then honor how you feel and move on. It's good to trust your guts. Some people are so insecure, they never trust their guts. And I think you walk into pitfalls that way. If you're getting a red flag warning on a gut level, I would really start playing with trusting my gut in that regard, and realizing that you are getting messages, you are getting insights about people that are worth your attention.
Yeah, I think you're so right. You are so spot on with that. And we should, both men and women. I really do think as we move forward in a relationship, we do get a feeling about the other person, whether it's we want to go ahead and put more time into it, or whether it's just not, they're nice people, but they're maybe just not the one for me. So, and then move on with that. We're going to have to take a quick break, Rosalind, because we're already in the halfway point of the show. And so when we come back, let's talk a little bit about your 99 things women wish they knew before dating, because I think men would be very intrigued with what women wish they might have known. Okay. So let's just talk about that a little bit, and then we'll come right back to the show. So I do appreciate that. Well, hey, everyone. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I am Cece Schatz. This is the Going Solo with Cece show, and we're going to take just a quick break, just a moment of silence for our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Okay, I want to bring the show right back because we don't want to miss out on any of the time that we have with Rosalind Sadaka. She is absolutely a marvel. And if you guys have not listened to her show, you must tune in. Both her and Amy Sherman give wonderful, wonderful advice. And their show is called Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living. They've been with our station since the get-go. And I want to really thank them for their loyalty with us. But y'all are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I am Cece Schatz, and this is a Going Solo with Cece show. And I want to bring her right on back. So those of you that don't know Rosalind, I want you to get to know her because she is pretty awesome. She is a dating and midlife expert and a dating and relationship coach. She is also the co-author of 99 Things Women Wish They Knew Before Dating, 40, 50, and yes, 60. And she doesn't stop there because she is a certified divorce coach. She runs the Voice of Child-Centered Divorce. And then her email is right here on the screen. If you guys want to write it down and email her, she would love to hear from you because she is very friendly, let me tell you, and she will answer any questions you have. She loves to talk to each and every one. So please, if you want to contact her, her email is RosalindWrites@gmail.com. That's RosalindWrites@gmail.com. Well, welcome back, Rosalind.
Thank you.
Well, we had a lot of great information, I think, the first part of the show. So if anyone out there, if you missed the first part, you certainly want to hop back on and listen to the rebroadcast, which will be on our YouTube channel. So, which is the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network YouTube. So let's talk a little bit more, Rosalind, about your book, The 99 Things Women Wish They Knew Before Dating. And I think men would really get a heads up on this. So tell us, number one, why did you write a book like this?
Well, because I was in my 40s when I had my divorce and was thrown out into the singles world again. And I learned a lot. I learned that I didn't want to be dating boys. I didn't want to be dating bores. And I didn't want to be dating people who were manipulative and players. And so I realized that there's a lot of wonderful guys out there beyond that, but you had to be wary and tiptoe around and learn how to avoid a lot of the people who were just playing games in relationships. And as you move in from your 40s to your 50s to your 60s, you get more jaded. The older you are, I found, especially with clients that I work with, the more jaded they get. And a lot of times they start having an attitude of, there's no one good out there anymore. All the good ones are taken. There's no one, I need someone very special, and there's no one out there for me who is right. And what I've learned from watching my own experience and then watching client experiences is that whatever we believe becomes our reality. So if you start dating feeling very jaded, or in a pity party feeling sorry for yourself, like you're the only single who had a terrible breakup or divorce and back out there, and you believe that there's no quality people out there, and all women are manipulative and controlling, and all men are abusive and are only out for sex, then you're going to bump into those kinds of people because you're attracting those kinds of people into your life. Your energy just brings in those people. And then you're going to say, see, I told you, they're all like that. But the truth is, there's wonderful people. Every day, people are marrying wonderful people. But we have to be selective, and we have to qualify, and we have to understand what we're looking for. So it's good to put together a written list of the attributes and the qualities you're looking for. And qualities much more than height and weight and color of eyes, because those things don't determine anything about the character of your partner. Mm-hmm. By midlife, you're not just looking for the beautiful knight on shining armor to come along. You know that there are qualities that some people have and others don't, regardless of how good looking they are or aren't. And so you want to really be focusing on integrity and honesty and commitment. Are they in for the long run, and the values they have, and their beliefs and their goals and their attributes. And I always tell clients, you can't tell a party until you're with them when they're sick or going through some crisis. Go through a 2-week virus or a flu and watch your partner then, and see how they handle, how they treat you, how they treat other people. Or go experience their getting fired from a job or having some other serious situation happen, because that's when you see the character of the person. You see how they talk to you and how they talk to other people, how they address family members, coworkers, people in restaurants, and the facade comes off, and you see how they're able to cope with stress and anger and conflict. We all are at our worst when we're going through crisis, mm-hmm. and we certainly are, and it's good to reflect how we are behaving during those times. But you want to look at your partner and see them through there and see, is this the person I want to be with and spend a serious amount of time in the future with, knowing what I've seen now and what I know now. Mm-hmm. So it's always good. You don't want to make commitments when you're just in the honeymoon phase, when everyone is on their best behavior, acting beautifully. And you want to be very careful about children. If you're going into a relationship in midlife and have children, whether they're young or whether they're teenagers or out of the house, they're part of your life. and you want to be very certain about letting any new partner know that about your children, how important they are to you, and make sure that they like children. We can't expect them to fall in love with our kids instantaneously, but we do want someone who likes kids, who will treat our children with respect, who isn't just pushing the kids away. We don't want to create a conflict when children are fearful that mommy or daddy may be in love with someone else and put them ahead of your own children in life. And that happens when people are insecure in their relationships and suddenly they create a jealousy. We don't want competition between our children and our love partner. The love we have for both of them is totally different love, and it should never be. Something wrong if your kids are feeling insecure about your partner or your partner's feeling insecure about your kids. So you want to nip that in the bud, and you want to make sure you're with someone who's going to allow you to love and parent your children and not push them aside for your love relationship.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think it's important, even if you have older children, because you want to be okay as a family, right? If you're looking at something long term. So even your older children, and so I think it's important that, maybe even though they don't live with you all the time, it's still important that when you have family gatherings, that everyone gets along, everybody's respectful, there's harmony.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we're dating in midlife, we're dealing with blended families, which is one of the most complicated issues of all. Very big challenge. And when it works right, it can be a very beautiful blessing for everyone. But you have to take baby steps when you're dealing with that. And one thing I do want to mention, talking about dating after divorce with children, is you really want to take it very, very slow introducing new partners to children, even teens. And so don't have a revolving door where every month or two someone new is in your life that your kids are meeting. Keep the love partners away from the children and only introduce them when you're in a serious relationship with someone who you feel is a meaningful partner who may be there in your life on a long-term basis. And even then, very slowly, short intervals, talk to the children, get their feedback afterwards. Don't let them feel that they're being pushed, someone is being pushed on them. And listen. Sometimes we get so excited to be in love again. We all love to be in love. And sometimes we're not as aware as we could be about things that family members or friends or children will see.
Yes.
And sometimes talking to them and getting their feedback will wake us up and out of gaga land and say, oh, yes, he hasn't been telling the truth about that. I have caught him slipping in a couple of lies. So you want to be very, very aware, take it very slowly and feel things out and listen to your children, because what they have to say matters. And children can sabotage relationships in a terrible way if they decide to get ornery and they decide to create havoc in your life.
Yes, they certainly can. So you want to try to do the best you can with getting through that. Well, talk about sabotaging. So tell us about, singles. We tend to sabotage a relationship and we don't realize it. What is your opinion on that? What do you mean by that when we've talked in the past with regards to that?
Yes, and it happens so often. It's all based on our belief systems. What are we telling ourselves? If I mentioned a few things earlier about saying that all men are this or all women are that. If you have a belief about that, then it's going to come to pass that you're going to be bringing into your life people who are going to treat you that way. So you have to be very clear about what your expectations are, what your beliefs are, because we sabotage ourselves by bringing inappropriate people into our lives and then saying, see, I told you, there's no one good, and I'm giving up. I'm giving up on dating because there's no one worthwhile. So we need to break our patterns. When we're sabotaging ourselves, the first thing we need to do is break our patterns and make a dramatic shift when you go places, go to different restaurants, different venues with different people, someone that you haven't been socializing with as a friend, girlfriends get together, go with some people you haven't been hanging out with, go to some places in another part of town, across the border to somewhere else where the energy is going to be different. Go and break your patterns, whatever they are. If you're usually a morning person, try doing some evening things and vice versa. If you've always wanted to play an instrument, go somewhere where you could take lessons and bump into other people. It doesn't have to be people that are prospective love partners, but everyone has a friend or a cousin or a neighbor who's recently single and dating again. So you never know where you're going to be introduced or invited. But you have to break those patterns, because the sabotage comes from very limiting beliefs. There's no one good enough for me. There are people who are good enough for you. You just haven't met them and brought them into your life.
Mm-hmm. That's very good advice. Very good advice. It's true. And often the patterns that we have are patterns from our past too, mm-hmm. that we bring forward, which create that limiting belief that we can't meet someone.
We're creatures of habit, and we are the creatures of patterns. So catching the patterns is the first step, because we can't change what we don't first acknowledge. Mm-hmm. And it's very hard to sit and acknowledge. So for a new year is a perfect time to say, what patterns have I been running or have been running me? What am I doing on automatic? Mm-hmm. Do we always go to the same 3 restaurants whenever I go out with my friends? Do we always go listen to the same music when we go out? It's amazing how stuck we get that way. And just by changing the energy of being with someone new and different is going to open up new opportunities to explore things. And you may just bump into a new experience that you're just loving.
Yeah, you're so spot on with that. You truly are. And I love the idea that you really take this time of year to really sit back and really catch your breath and think about, what you want in life and where you want to be, and then make a plan to try to get to that, that action plan. So, because dating is really just something you have to, if you truly want to meet someone, you just have to take it as it goes, right? And just enjoy the moment.
You do have to get out there, because a lot of people are waiting for a knock on the door. It's ridiculous. You do have to be out, be present in places. And there's a lot of single group activity clubs and organizations in many of the cities around the country and in countries around the world. You need to get on some of those mailing lists to find out what people are doing together, even occasionally doing a cruise together or a dinner out with these groups, because you just don't know who you're going to meet and find when you do that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that's wonderful advice. And so we've got a few minutes here before we have to close the show, Rosalind, because it goes so fast. And I hope that you'll come back on again, because I just love to have you. But what closing remarks or last advice you'd like to give to our listeners here today?
I want to really reinforce that we are what we think and what we believe. And so listen to what you're telling yourself, because that really matters. Catch yourself with your self-talk and catch what you're really believing about the universe. If you could catch it and say, gee, that isn't really the most conscious thoughts I'm thinking about myself or about other people, and then you could consciously change it. You could create a little mantra for yourself. This is the year I deserve a healthy, happy relationship, and I'm going to get it. I'm attracting a wonderful new partner into my life, and I deserve it. Whatever makes you feel good, but find something conscious to say to yourself whenever you're catching yourself with the old behavior, the old patterns, the old belief systems, because it takes more repetition to start a new habit and belief system. And it's worth reaching out to a group or a coach or a counselor or to help you more rapidly undo some of these belief systems if they're long ingrained and you've been living with them for so long. Everything is an inside job, and you have the ability. It's wonderful news because it means you have the ability to change things you don't like about your life, but only if you believe that that change is possible. If you believe you're stuck and nothing's going to change, then that's like a death sentence. It just means I am stuck and nothing will change. So we don't want to do that to ourselves. Life is filled with excitement and opportunity, and 2020 can be the best year of your life.
I so agree with that. I totally do. And so let's put all your information up there so people can reach you, Rosalind. You have a couple websites here. One is womendatingafter40.com.
Yes.
And then we have womendatingrescue.com and mendatingformula.com.
Yes.
So
those are all e-courses and e-books and e-programs that are created specially to help you make these shifts and these transitions much more quickly, because you're guided along and you don't have to do it alone.
Yes.
And you can contact me at rosalindwrites@gmail.com.
We'll show that again, rosalindwrites@gmail.com. You know, I want to say one thing here about these, the websites here, the womendatingafter40.com, and then womendatingrescue.com and mendatingformula.com.
Formula.com.
Right. I think it's really important that these are courses and they're ebooks that will help, you know, move you through. But the other thing is that I think when we take this type of information, which is good information, it's like taking a well and we're filling it with good, positive, you know, useful information, it will raise your vibration. It will raise you to that next level of knowledge, being able to step forward. And so this is so important. So I hope that people will realize that. And then again, here's your email, which is rosalindwrites@gmail.com. Send her a little email. Let her know you saw the show, that you watch her show, which again is Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living with her sister, Amy Sherman. Awesome, awesome shows. I love them. I've learned a lot from them myself. So I hope that everyone will listen to those. I think they're awesome. Find them right on YouTube. They're right there.
And I have a free ebook to download at womendatingafter40.com. So
okay, let's put that one up. Okay, a free ebook.
After40.com, a free ebook, answers to your most asked questions about dating and relationships. And of course, I provide coaching services one-on-one, just on the phone or on video like this.
Yes, absolutely. And again, I'd like to show you the Voice of Child Center divorce.com. And I think that's important to look at that. If you're going through a divorce and you have children, I mean, you have a wealth of information there that help families. And I think that's very, very important, because when we go through divorce, and if we can get through it, you know, wholly and get to the other side and without too many broken pieces, right? I really think that it makes moving forward in our life so much easier. And, you know, the dating and all of that. So if we can get through the divorce process in a more whole fashion, I think it certainly can give you a stepping stone or a step up to be able to move through into dating. So, and really stepping into your new single life, enjoying the life that you're in, and then discovering whether you do want another partner in your life. So
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. Well, again, all of the information you can find right on our goingsolomedia.com. She is a host right there on the station, so her information is readily right there available. And so if you've, you know, say to yourself, oh, I remember Rosalind and I want to contact her, just go to our goingsolomedia.com, and all her information is still right there. So thank you so much, Rosalind. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Cece. I always enjoy talking with you.
Oh, me too. I love you. I think you're great. And we got to twist Amy's arm and get her to come on. Oh, here we have someone that commented. Hey, Flo. She's wonderful. Hi, Flo. Thank you for the Happy New Year. We appreciate that. But yeah, so we've got to twist Amy's arm and get her to come on with us. So I would love that. And we also have the new venture. Those of you that would like to join us, we have our new site up now, which is Going Solo Next Step. And Rosalind, of course, and Amy Sherman are going to be a part of that. They are coaches and therapists right there on the site that's going to help you move through your divorce and into your transition of dating. And so we hope that you guys will join us right there on Going Solo Next Step. And then, of course, any information you need on the Going Solo Network, you just go to goingsolonetwork.com. So thanks again, Rosalind. We appreciate it.
Thank you, and happy, healthy New Year.
You too. Well, I tell you, the show goes very, very quickly, especially when you have a guest like Rosalind Sadaka, which we love dearly here on the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. She is a totally positive individual that helps many, many, many throughout divorce, dating, and really living their best life. So I hope you'll join me right back here, same time, same place next week on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I am Cece Schatz. I'm the doyenne of relationship building, and you're listening to Going Solo with Cece. Bye for now.